The Owl House is a show I only wish I could have been following since it came out. I'd see glimpses of it on Disney+, but never found myself interested enough to actually dig in and see what it was about. Only binging the show when For the Future had already dropped. But when I did, I fell in love with it instantly. The cast of characters were great, their chemistry between each other was fun and interesting, the comedy was fairly good, and Illumity was a beautiful romance in my book. But you don't need me to repeat what's already been said so many times before. No, I'm not going to tell you why The Owl House is an amazing show, but something deeper to myself personally. How this show dug deep into my heart in a way that I don't believe I've ever felt before. First off, if you haven't seen the show and have a Disney Plus account, you have no excuse to go binge it right now. The last season's been out for like over a month now, so you can just pause this, then come back in a few hours. Now typically when I watch a show, the pilot will hook me in, and the first season will steadily reel me towards liking it. As I get to know the characters, plot, and themes better, I'm a very observational viewer who loves to really dissect a show as I'm watching it. I'm a bit weird like that, so it usually takes a few episodes of slowly analyzing it until I'm fully invested because of how deeply I'm trying to delve into it. But that was not the case with The Owl House. It had me locked into it on the second episode, and I could do nothing but watch it over the next 2 days. The second episode immediately shook things up for me, and I suspect everyone else's expectations for what this show's plot was going to be about. Our protagonist, Luz Noceda, ending up on the Boiling Isles, a place situated on a corpse of a giant creature on a literal other planet that she just ran through a magic door into. This place is almost like a godsend for her, as Luz loves the idea of magic, and her favorite book series is a fantasy adventure novel. And now she gets the chance to live out an impossible dream of becoming a witch. And this happens to be because Luz just bumps into the most powerful witch on the Boiling Isles, Ida, who agrees to act as her mentor. Hell, the first thing Luz does here is help Ida invade a prison to take back a crown for a little demon king, then defeats the overbearing warden of the place while freeing and inspiring some of its prisoners. The first episode just screams of a run-of-the-mill hero's journey with the call to adventure and meeting a mentor figure. It didn't look like anything exceptional to me. Seen one fantasy adventure story, seen them all, but it did pique my interest with its characters and style, so I decided to keep going, expecting to find something a bit cliche at times, but just fine as shows go. Except that wasn't what it was going to be like at all. The second episode makes that clear, opening with Luz being excited about her first day as an actual witch's apprentice. She even dons a stereotypical witch garment she finds in the house, but...
Ugh. Who are you again?
Absolutely nothing goes as she or I expected it to. Ida seems to just forget who she is.
You're wrapped in a bathrobe and wearing the dirtiest traffic cone I've ever seen.
And all of this that they did just yesterday. Where before, Luz went on this magical quest straight out of a fantasy novel, now her job is to just go into town and sell potions because Ida's a potion seller and Luz now works for her. So it's off to make sales and deliveries. It's such a tonal shift from last time, I was completely thrown off balance by it. I mean, Luz was basically isekai'd into a world that was almost tailor-made for her. But the writers are certainly not treating it like that. There were glimpses of it in the first episode, but it didn't really come on stage until now. Luz herself is equally as put off by the casual change in pace.
At this point, Azura had already been sent on an enchanted quest. Where's my quest-granting wizard?
With King and Ida constantly putting down any notion that there's some special quest or destiny out there for her.
What if I, Luz Noceda, average teen, actually had a predetermined path of greatness?
Even when some guy shows up looking and acting like your typical ancient wise wizard guy, who gives her a map to find some powerful magic staff, there's something distinctly wrong with it. Something that Luz fails to note because she seems to be getting what she's been hoping for. Luz then runs off alone to follow the map, and Eden and King chase after to find nothing but ruins and puppetry wherever Luz had been. The show is not being subtle that the magic journey Luz goes on in this episode is so obviously fake, and it's her desire to be on one that's kept her from noticing the strings around her. And the reason why Luz is being lured into a trap isn't because this creature thing wants her in particular, but because he's got a rival potion making business and wants to get rid of Ida by using Luz as bait.
Does Does everybody have a beef with Ida here?
It's a very mundane and non-fantasy motivation for this guy to have, but I think it's to make it clear that Luz isn't all that important to this world and the people in it. A point that feels like it's being beaten into her in my head while watching. And it's so fascinating. I've watched a lot of shows over the years, and many follow a similar path. Protagonist or protagonists end up thrust on a journey throughout a world where it feels like they're on some heroic or fantastical path from the get-go and destined to make some great impact because of who they are. And while those stories are often well written and a blast to experience, finding shows that break from this format is very enamoring to me. Luz is a human where none should exist, and yet very few people are really all that awed or impressed by that fact.
Apparently, it just makes everyone want to scream at me or eat me.
She wanted to stay on the Boiling Isles because Luz felt she found some weirdo outsiders like her, and to have a realistic shot at becoming a witch like she's always dreamed up.
I always suspected there was a reason nobody understood my wacky antics back at home.
Yet in the second episode or day of her being there, Luz's escapist reality has fallen apart at the seams, so that after dealing with the tentacle hentai fetish bait with Lita literally voring it, Luz is left feeling bummed out. Luz feels worse than she did before because nothing has gone according to how her mental image assumed things would go. But it leads right into this banger of an exchange between Luz and Ida at the end of the episode.
Look, kid, everyone wants to believe they're chosen. But if we all waited around for a prophecy to make us special, we'd die waiting. And that's why you need to choose yourself.
I really want to know what drugs the Disney executives were on when they tried to cancel this show and snubbed it so badly. A show where one of its core messages is that you don't need some kind of predetermined destiny to give your life purpose. That being weird and not fitting in isn't a bad thing. If you want to go on a life-changing journey, then just do it for Pete's sake. The Owl House hit me hard because growing up to being 21 now, I've done so fairly lonely, besides my younger brother and my siblings and mother and father, so I guess not that lonely, but I've had few friends growing up in school, and it was a difficult time interacting with the ones I did have, who all approached and initiated contact with lonely me, never the other way around. I was a bit shy, but definitely that one that would be called weird or the odd one out. Never really excelled at much and just alright at things and had zero clue where to even take my life. So to find a show about a young girl fulfilling her escapist fantasy about becoming a ding-dang witch that has its second episode be about subverting those expectations about the show's direction with the idea that nobody needs a prophecy or unfolding destiny to be special or achieve something would end up hitting me a bit hard. Seizing the moment isn't just about sitting on your butt waiting for an opportunity, but moving forwards and taking advantage of them as you travel through life as is. That is pretty much what Luz did throughout this show. It was pure happenstance that she ended up on the Boiling Isles and meeting Ida. Everything else was just Luz moving along and taking challenges and opportunities the best she could as they came. Not because some force had her come here or she had this special trait that allowed her to overcome all her problem. Throughout the show, you see various people that fail to fit in somewhere, yet in spite of that and the road bumps they hit, at no point does it ever hinder their ability to live their life and meet people. Luz is weird. Not special, but that's okay. At no point in the show does her or anyone else's weirdness detract from their character or make them better people. They're just quirks that are part of who they are, and it's not bad, it's not good, it's just a part of what defines them as an individual. Luz doesn't save the Boiling Isles because of her weird quirks, or in spite of them, she just seizes the moment and did her best with the support from the friends Luz made and the family she had around her, because that's just how life works. It is okay if you don't fit in somewhere, just be yourself. Go through life the way you'd like and stand tall as challenges come along. Look to your family and friends for a leg up when you need it. And you can be just as happy and loved as everyone else. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's so much more to this show than I talked about in this video, and I love all those aspects of it too. But I just want to talk about what really hit me in the feels the most while watching The Owl House. This show really resonated with me in a way I'd never felt before. It just got me so hard when these things came up, and it's even responsible for getting my first tattoo, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. I love The Owl House so much, and after what Disney put it through, I really hope it can finally get the justice it deserves.